in everything you do. You break appointments and think that you're smart. If you're not careful, oh, you'll break my heart. Careless, now that my bridges are burned, you're careless, careless wherever I'm concerned. Are you careless or mean to be? Or are you just careless with me? When love, not the lyrics, I'd have to brush up. You're recording that for permanent production?
No.
Yeah, let's see now. Oh, I composed a New Orleans song. I like it. Let me see, I haven't played it in months. Let's see the key now. New Orleans, New Orleans, filled with charm and grace. New Orleans, New Orleans, long history, history you trace. The mighty, let me try it again. New Orleans, New Orleans, filled with charm and grace. New Orleans, New Orleans, long history you trace. The mighty. It's a tricky thing. I compose New Orleans, filled with charm and grace. New Orleans, New Orleans, long history you trace. The mighty Mississippi flows and gives your crescent name. The very there it is, with quaint landmarks, adds to your lasting. Memories very rare. Down yonder in New Orleans, babies with flashing eyes, with tender sighs, and give your lady fair a little break. Way down yonder in New Orleans. People say the power of your voice is that now don't forget the resonance. Don't cheat me. I want resonance added into that. They just speak about the power. Or maybe one.
No,
The voices are so weak at
impressive.
anyone.
No, it's.
Well, I used my voice in classroom. When you called me, darling, I was. You said, "Let me get in a word." Well, I tell my friends they're going to challenge you.
He said that?
Yeah, let me get in a word. Another woman said, "You
He
ain't
does that a
coming."
lot, yeah.
You know, that's all right. He had a right to, but
You can
I had
imagine
an
what it's like
audience.
to
You
argue
see,
with him.
that's all
I
right.
have to argue with him.
You're so kind to give me all this time. Will you come back and let me hear?
Sure. Can we talk to you a little bit about
Yeah,
the book?
come on. Now, let's go back. Huh? You want to sit here? Look, pour some wine, honey.
Okay.
And you see what passes here. Faubourg Marigny. Now, come on, let's talk.
Okay. As we told you, we're doing a film about language in New Orleans and the way people talk. And you told us something when we came in about a Confederacy of Dunces and what it did for New Orleans language. So if you just tell us again.
Yes. No one has ever caught the flavor, the intonations, the dialect, we call it, of the New Orleanians. Santa, Irene particularly, Irene. And now Lana Lee, that's a dubious background. That's Appalachian Annie, you know. But let's see, and Claude Robichaud. Now, very few people speak about Claude Robichaud. His grandchildren, there we have that children, his grandchildren, was studying with the sisters. Wonderful. Claude Robichaud, Santa Battaglia.
Where did your son get the, where did he get the ear from?
All right, the ear. Now, he didn't mingle with those people. He had the seeing eye, the hearing ear, and whenever he went shopping, long before that, but when he went shopping, he would take the bus, you see, not have the trouble of parking the car. On buses, you can get wonderful language. For instance, over by the Germans, there were many German bakers in this section, now called Faubourg Marigny. Years ago, it was just a plain downtown neighborhood. And over by the Germans is so telling, that over by the Germans, you're going to buy some baked goods. And bumbershoot, get out your bumbershoot, meaning it's going to rain. It's a slang. I think it came from the Irish Channel, bumbershoot, maybe. Now the bumbershoot productions are planning to make a movie in March. I wonder if Fort Worth can catch New Orleans. I'm trying to get in touch. They didn't get in touch with me. And I'm wondering if they can catch the flavor. I'm going to ask to be consultant. And he was a slopperino, and my son was elegant. People pinned Ignatius on him, and they pin Irene on me. They say my hair is maroon. Isn't that dreadful? Isn't that dreadful? My friends are screaming. They attribute Irene's language to me. And
how did Irene talk? You don't talk like Irene, but how would Irene talk? Can you give us an example?
Yes, I'll give you listen, baby, don't you think you ought to go to charity for a little rest? Them doctors can do wonders for you, baby. Please, honey, you need help. I don't know what's the matter with you, but you need help, baby. Please do what Mama says. And of course, Santa, with a hoarse Dago voice. Listen, Irene. Take him to charity. It's free. You won't have to pay. And them doctors will knock some sense in that crazy head. Darlene would be typical of New Orleans, but not Lana Lee.
Darlene is the stripper in the Night of Joy.
Putting water in the whiskey bottles. She's very lovable, though. Very lovable, because she's trying to improve herself. And then, of course, everybody knows the colored dialect. I said to someone, we will have a colored president when every Negro man and woman can say ask instead of axe. I love axe. It's very provocative. And the low-class whites say ast, A-S-T. Typical of them. But the movie has to be made into an epic. It really has to be. It's internationally known. There are 10 translations, and those publishers are waiting for the movie. So when it does come, and Europe knows the Cannes Festival, prizes. Europe knows European movies, and I find English movies, for the most part, superior to American movies.
It's a tough thing to pull off. It's a very difficult
This
task.
book is
Yes.
going to be very, not for me, let me be the director. I'd have to join the Actors Guild and what have you, but I'd do anything that's necessary. I have an idea how to open. I would be the narrator, and the camera would start at D.H. Holmes without any characters. Passers-by, customers, shoppers, Jackson Square. He mentions Jackson Square, Pirates Alley, Royal Street, and his magnificent description of Dorian Gray's 3-story vieux carré home in the French Quarter. Now, I told my son that in the French race, there were many spinsters, taunts they called them, living with the married sister or the married brother. And my son said the old taunts were up in the attic room with the old furniture, with a constant recitation of the rosary and gossip. The French were great gossips, great and social people. He said, put them in the attic with the old furniture and a constant recitation of the rosary. That's a paradox in gossip. He caught everything so beautifully. But I want to be consultant. I'm going to write to the Bumbershoot people. It's time to make known that I'm living,
You were telling us before that you told him about the Lautenschlager Market, which was a market near where you lived.
Yes, 2.5 blocks on Burgundy and Truro, an open-air market with Geraci, a stand of produce, Marcianti, butcher, Porretta, seafood, shrimp, and oysters. I told him about the excitability of we used to call them Dagos. Very good now, don't get me wrong. Up at 5 in the morning, the wives and the husbands, and loud Sicilian talk, the couples fighting while the customers were there, and slapping their children and then hugging them and kissing them. Now, my mother used to send me on small errands. Oh, and the lagniappe at the bakery. A little ginger, small little round, like a little biscuit, a lagniappe, if you made a purchase. And I think the purchase was a nickel. I showed you, non-inflation.
The lagniappe was something extra.
Yeah, it means something extra. And I used to like that. Maybe they'd give you 2. My mother used to send me for light little errands. Magnificent neighborhood. And this neighborhood was a neighborhood of culture. Produced many public school teachers, the principal of Esplanade Avenue High, and
Where Irene is talking to Santa on the telephone.
Whispering, yeah.
And Santa's got a child in the room. She's kind of screaming at the child.
Darlene, not Darlene, I'm trying to think of the name.
Charmaine, I think.
Charmaine. Yeah, all right, Charmaine. Get the hell out of here. Go on your bike, go on your tricycle, go take a ride. She was cooking lasagna, some Italian dish. Yeah, wonderful.
If we showed you the passage, do you think you could do it for us? It's got a couple of New Orleans words like banquet in there.
Oh, now let me tell you about the banquet. We didn't have electric fans until very later, and our summers were very hot, as they are now. Our winters were cold. We don't get much cold weather now. From dusk on, we had wicker chairs but many people came out in their kitchen chairs. He mentions Dauphine Street with Irene Riley's home, you know. They brought out, they were poor. And Banquet, over by the Germans, Lagniappe. There are many others. They have to recur to me. I haven't heard them. Many my son didn't use. And of course, Get Out Your Bumbershoot. We thought that was so cute. Let me get a little appreciation. Hold on a minute, Irene. Oh, hold on a minute. This is Santa speaking. Right. Hold on a minute, Irene. I got one of my little grandchildren over here for the day, Santa said, and screamed at someone at her end of the line. Get the hell away from that stove, Charmaine, and go play out on the banquet before I bust you right in the mouth. A child's voice made some reply. Lord, Santa continued calmly to Mrs. Riley. Them kids is sweet, but sometimes I just don't know. Charmaine, get the hell outside and go play on your bike before I come slap your face off. Hold the line, Irene. Mrs. Riley heard Santa put the telephone down. Then a child screamed, a door slammed, and Santa was back on the phone. Christ, I tell you, Irene. Irene, that child won't listen to nobody. I'm trying to cook her some spaghettis and daube, and she keeps on playing in my pot. I wish them sisters at her school would beat up on her a little.
That's good enough. That's fine.
Isn't that beautiful?
Right? Don't you think it captures the New Orleans idiom?
And daube. You know what daube is? It's a thick piece of beef, brown, usually brown. That's typical of New Orleans, a daube. Now they make daube glacé in these swanky restaurants, you know. It's, you have to read it and reread it, and you find hidden charms.
I have to change it.
The first time I met a writer, I produced a genius passage there, with Charmaine.
Yeah, it's, we were looking through it yesterday.
You know, when you start Darlene and Charmaine and Judy and Trudy, you've got something. You've got something. It's very wonderful.
But he also captured the black idiom when he...
Not a word wasted. He hits magnificently. For instance, Burma saying, little children in their diapers can shake their ass when they're young. They're famous for that ass stuff, you know. He caught that. And when he introduces Darlene at the premiere, I must build that up. That's great.
How did you do that first?
I haven't worked on that. Come in, folks. We got a real plantation on the stage. Cotton growing. Knock your eyeball out. Cotton growing. Little pickaninny. And then it's running around in their diaper, shaking their little asses and singing Heidi-ho like Cab's Halloway. And then the drums playing loud, and in come Miss Darlene. Ooh, Miss Darlene is a stripper. She stripped real good. I haven't worked on that yet. I must build that up. So much. Somebody said, that's not at a lecture. I gave a little bit of it. Said, that's not in the book. I said, my son wouldn't mind the addition. It's not diluting any of his wonder. He'd be proud. He told my husband one night, if Mother lived in Russia, she would have been honored. Russia takes its scientists and its artists I know the artists are in pink palaces, pink marble palaces. Robert Gottlieb. Myrna is a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just a stupid man. A lucky Jew. When the book was about to be published, I asked permission from Walker Percy and Philibom to let him have it. And they said it might hurt the sale of the book, so I obeyed publishing the man who espoused the book. But I don't have to do it now, because it's firmly ensconced. I don't have to do it now. Come on, let's get going.
That's who you are.
I'm Thelma Toole, a retired New Orleans public school teacher. I taught for 6 years, and when I married in 1926, married women were not allowed to teach. So I taught speech and dramatic art. I had a 16-year span of speech and dramatic art and fitted for it. I gave private lessons in the home, and then I taught in Catholic high schools, Holy Angels Academy, Ursuline Academy, St. Joseph High School, and I taught Hotel Dieu, student nurses, entertainment. I'm a general program deviser and entertainer. I was a dancer, too.
And you had a son.
I had a son 10 years after marriage. I was married 10 years.
Tell us, this is for someone who might not know who you were.
Yes. Now, after 10 years, this genius came along, and that night he was born. He raised his head out of the blanket and brought it down slowly. I said, good spine, and the beauty of him. Now, the nurses would come in my room. This is the first time I've been relieved of papers to correct. After my daily duties are over, they gave him a private room. Imagine. And he was leader of the English team. There were 18 college graduates under him. He was a born author for Walker Percy on a postcard a week later after he read the manuscript. Most flavorful novel of New Orleans I have ever read or ever will read. Oh, and that gave me. Then he had a difficult time getting it published. He sent it to his publisher, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, and they said, since the author isn't living, we have no interest. There's nothing in the future. Foolish. And he tried I tried 10 New York publishers, and he was then working on The Second Gentleman, I think. So I said, here, I'm grieving. I'm not getting anywhere, that I'm involving that busy man, taking him away from his concentration. Then he thought of Philibom of LSU Press. And Philibom had it. Yes, it goes on and on.
How's the lighting? Excuse me. How's the lighting?
Okay, go ahead.
And I said, I'm going to blow the works So I told the dressmaker to get wide nylon lace and put it on a rubber band. That was my idea, that drop shoulder. I'm getting very daring in my elderly years. That's cute. There you are, honey.
Okay.
See if I have a comma after mother. My vision isn't good.
Okay.
See if you see a little comma. If not, I'll add one.
Not after mother. No.
Well, that's important.
Okay.
My handwriting's not bad, and it's shaky since I've been sick. It's some kind of a comma. It's a homemade comma.
Good. Thank you.
This has been a good visit.
Oh, I've enjoyed it very much.
Good visit.
I mean, we're very proud to interview you because we really feel the book captures the language like no other
Nobody ever caught it. That's genius, that seeing eye, hearing ear. And he had a tender heart. One Mardi Gras, he was in a gay 90s group, and I bought wide black and white stripe. I had his coat made by a very poor dressmaker up on Dublin. And he used to work. We were under economic pressure all during his life, and he used to work. He worked at Haspel. Ooh, if the Haspels knew. Ooh, and the Haspels are so wealthy. And he was horrified that the Haspel women would be going on tours, you know. The Jewish women are pampered.
And that's what he based Leave Your Pants on.
Yeah, it's a parody, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
yeah, well, anyway, he worked there. He typed for Y's Cafeteria menu cards. He worked at the library at night, then would come home 2, 3 o'clock. We lived in an apartment with transoms, a lovely old apartment. And he'd type until, study, research until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And he invited me a week when he was at Hunter. He taught at Hunter College. And he said, Mother, there was a blizzard. He said, Mother, if you weren't here, I'd be shoveling snow. I said, I'm proud of you. I said, never look down on anything menial. He'd be shoveling snow with the derelicts, you know, the winos. You see? That's a man for you. A man. Nothing hoity-toity. Nothing arrogant, you know. No false airs, and dressed beautifully.
Did he ever impersonate any of the people who was
Well, he was a mimic.
He was a mimic. Yeah.
Yes, the faculty at USL, he was there a year, said if he were in a group, with a small group with people he liked, he had them in stitch. He was a mimic, better mimic than I. Better
Did he ever
mimic
do
than...
the characters in his book?
What's that?
Did he ever mimic the characters?
Oh, no. But I composed various lovers. I'll give you 2 little excerpts. First, there's Oscar of Germany. Ach, mein Katharina, I would not have you, Lena. Your 200 pounds are a joy to me. So eat Braunschweiger, with plenty of noodles, and I will always love you oodles, mein Katharina, mein lovely queen. Henri of France. Of all the mademoiselles in Gay Paris, he was 10 when he was doing this. There is none to compare with perte Fifi. Millon, Yvonne, Marie and Claire could never with Fifi compare. From her rosebud lips I take, the honeyed seeps, her big black eyes lead me to paradise. Fifi, mon coeur's greatest prize. 10-year-old boy. Mimic, wonderful mimic. He could mimic anybody. He used to delight me at night. We'd sit in the living room, and when he was 9, he was mimicking his principal, addressing the school at morning assembly. And she was this kind, what can I do for you, big, tall, impressive woman? And you should have heard him give a lecture. to the assembled school. Now, 9 years old. And I knew it wasn't disrespect. It's just that he was an actor, and he caught her mannerisms. He used to give me a long harangue, Miss Will addressing the school. Remarkable person, just remarkable. Shoot the questions if you want. Come back.
He read her work and was influenced by it.
What's that?
He read her work. He read Flannery O'Connor.
His dissertation was to be on. That would have been something to publish. He was gung-ho about Flannery O'Connor. I read all her books. Oh, he talks about linoleum. He was deaf on linoleum.
Mm-hmm.
If he knew people were coming here. And he was deaf on picture windows. My son, he saw those ranch homes, the picture windows. He's deaf on picture windows and deaf on linoleum. Santa had a pause. Santa said, I have to get some new linoleum. Seen her mama's picture. No, not Irene, Santa. And Irene says, nice plastic. And I hate plastic. Nice plastic, too. They're all stars. All stars. And nobody talks about George. George is a star. Pornographic material, selling it to high school boys. Ignatius putting a kitten in the bun compartment of his hot dog. He said they're the cleanest animals. They're always cleaning them with that old dirty saliva.
But that's another thing, is that it's repopularized Lucky Dogs.
Lucky Dogs.
The hot dog, those big hot dog wagons.
Yes.
Because it was in the book.
Lucky Dogs.
So now people come
And some wag, some delinquent boy rode on the push cart, 12 inches of paradise. That's, the writer said, my son didn't have the sophistication of John Irving. Yes, he has another thought. Let me meet John Irving. I think John Irving wrote The World According to Gough. And I couldn't get interested in it. I heard the picture was good. That's a rarity, for the picture to be better than the novel. I roll my R's. I don't. I trill my tongue.
But I was home for Thanksgiving, and there were some guests there, and they heard I was from New Orleans, and they had all just been reading.
Yeah, Hamlet's bookstore. Honey, see who that is. It might be someone from my brother. No one for me.
I'll go do it.
Okay, sure. So, yeah, she's looking forward to it.
She has a beautiful voice. Mrs. Bouchereau, Mr. Kolker, Mr. Alvarez. Going back to UNO. Not back. She was from LSU.
She's from LSU, yeah.
She was from UNO. All right.
Yeah. Pretty well.
I thought I heard Arthur say he couldn't come through. Did he say that?
Yeah.
You have to have been my high school sweetheart. It's a tough life.